Fstoppers.com has teamed up with Elia Licardi to create Photographing the World 3, the ultimate photography tutorial on all things landscape and cityscape photography. You're watching the behind-the-scenes series on the creation of this full tutorial, and if you'd like to learn more about the full product, head over to fstoppers.com/store.
It is currently 4 a.m. and this is the best that I have ever felt at 4 a.m. and that's because I woke up naturally at 2:30 a.m. for no reason. I just haven't been sleeping well this trip, so I'm kind of in a good mood right now. I'm ready to head to this next building, and once again we are getting secret access by somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So there's going to be probably some sneaking around again. One strange thing about the photo shoot today is we were told by the person who's getting us in that he needs for us to leave before sunrise. But obviously we want sunrise in our picture. So I don't know how that's going to go, but we need to pack up and let's get to the next shot.
This is day 2 of trying to get access, only this is in the morning. And I asked the question in the cab, which is harder, the evening or the morning? And I can see why the morning might be more difficult because there's absolutely no one around. Any person out having a cigarette is going to see us. And so that might potentially make it more difficult to kind of slip in. I don't know if this will be a success. I hope it is because today is Super Bowl Sunday, even though it's Monday here. And I got no sleep in order to be out here this morning. So not only am I missing the football game, but I'm extremely, extremely tired.
I'm not sure that we're actually going to be filming a lesson up here, but we do really want to get a lot of time-lapse video from up here just because it's a really cool spot. The issue is that we're so relatively close to the Burj that with our time-lapse Panasonic cameras, we can't get wide enough to get the ring road in front. So we are doing what we promised ourselves we would never do, and that is we are going back to the original way that we made time-lapses with a D750. So we're shooting this with the 15 to 30 2.8 Tamron lens. It's the only lens that we have that's actually wide enough to get this shot with the ring. So I've got some other time-lapse videos going. These little Panasonics are zoomed in a little bit, and this one to the right of Patrick, I'm just gonna let it run. It's got the entire Burj in it, but not the ring road. And then this camera, I'm gonna be shooting like 50 different time lapses zoomed in, just of cars traveling around the city.
We ended up getting some great B-roll, but because we had to leave by sunrise, we were not able to film a lesson.
So it's 7 in the morning, we're about to get dropped off at the hotel. The Super Bowl is almost over with. This is what all of America is doing right now, and it's like here, it's like we've just been on a roof at night all morning.
A few hours later, we decided to have some fun.
Today we are at the largest indoor theme park in the world.
If this can compete with anything in Orlando and no one is here,
I know.
And we get all the ethnic foods too to eat, like this, you're right, this could be amazing. Or this is about to be like the worst little behind the scenes segment of this whole tutorial.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
This is really weird because it's really nice. This is incredible. But there's nobody here, and I was just telling Lee, I don't hear any sounds of roller coasters. I don't hear any screaming.
In the end, we both agreed that the theme park was just okay. It kind of felt like Universal Studios if they had only spent about 25% of the budget. The rides were close to rides that I had been on before, but the little finishing details just weren't there.
So glad I'm not on this.
There was one thing that was significantly better about this theme park, though.
This is the best food I've ever gotten at a theme park, and I've been to every theme park.
The next morning, we got special access to visit the Burj Khalifa before sunrise.
Anytime I'm in a mall this early, it takes me back to the days that I worked retail, and it kind of gives me anxiety because I feel like I'm opening a store, especially when I hear alarms going off. But in this dream, we're going to the top of the tallest building in the world at 5 in the morning. I thought for sure they were not going to let you in with that bag of tripods, but they were like, 3 tripods? 2 mini tripods? Okay. This is the way in.
We took a ride on the tallest elevator in the world, and then we split up to shoot time lapses.
The problem is I have to shoot through this glass, so I've put my tripod arm up, and I put my hoodie on that. I'm going to put the hoodie over the camera and hope that I can reduce as much reflection as possible, but there's a very good chance this is going to be a total failure. I hope Lee's time-lapse is doing a little bit better on the other side. He doesn't have to deal with glass.
So we've been here for about an hour at this point, and there are people everywhere, as you can see. The interesting thing is, the view from up here isn't very good. We're so high and so far away from all of the other buildings. It just kind of looks like we're in an airplane looking down or something. So even though for some reason I expected this to be the best view and the best time lapses we've taken, the time lapses up here aren't that great.
So overall, how do you think the time lapses went?
I mean, it's a cool experience. I'm glad I can say I went to the top, but that's not near the best. The
best shots are where we've already been.
Yeah, it's when you see the tower. Being in the tallest tower, it just makes everything look like ants.
Yeah.
Later that afternoon, we went out into the desert to photograph the stars.
You don't have any sand in your shoes, right?
None.
That's good. So we've made it out to the desert, but apparently this is not the correct location. Elias sent our guide GPS coordinates of this area that's the furthest point away from all the different cities so that we can shoot stars tonight. And the guy said, oh, I know. And then we get out here and we're like right next to a highway. We're right next to a town right there. And Elias like, this doesn't look right. We look up our GPS location on a map and we're like an hour and a half away from where we need to be. I don't know if this is going to be a total failure or not.
I put the drone up to capture some B-roll, and for some reason it lost connection with the controller, and it did not want to land.
What is going on?
My fingers off. What is going on? I'm gonna let go.
Once we finally got the drone working, I asked the driver to drive around the sand dunes so that I could capture some B-roll. And the only thing that could make this experience worse happened.
And he got stuck in the sand, and he's very far away from me right now. And all of our gear is in the car. I don't have my shoes, and the sun's about to go down at this point. We haven't started filming the lesson yet.
Is he definitely stuck?
Oh, he's definitely stuck. Here he is. Way up there. So I need you with shoes, Patrick, to run up there and grab all the gear.
Why would I do that?
Because you have shoes, and then we need to start filming. It's almost pitch black at this point, but I don't think anything else could go worse for this lesson. It's like everything that could go wrong is going wrong. But I'm still a little hopeful that he's going to be able to pull this shot off and we'll be able to make a lesson out of it. But
I'm definitely not putting this in the tutorial.
what do you mean you're not putting this in the tutorial? You got to get the shot right now.
There is no shot.
What do you mean there's no shot? We just paid all this money to come out here. We're literally trapped anyway. Just take like 5 or 10 good shots
5 or 10
and let's get out of here.
No good shots. No good shots. take good shots, there must be good shots.
Because there was too much light pollution in this location, we couldn't see any stars, and therefore there was no lesson to film. So we decided to just wait around for the car to be rescued.
So another car has come to rescue us, and I think they're pulling out our truck. Hey, first try.
Obviously, this lesson ended up being a total loss, so the next day we had to redeem ourselves.
Today we woke up at 5, and we're heading to another building. I'm not even sure which building this is. And I did not wake up on my own today.
Good morning, everybody. I am really excited to show you one of my favorite views, so famous that it even has its own hashtag. It's called Me and the View at 42. So that should indicate that this is actually the 42nd floor of the Shangri-La Hotel in Dubai. The previous shots that we've worked on have been private residences where I've had to gain special permission to access the view. This one's a little bit different. If you happen to stay at the Shangri-La Hotel in Dubai, you can access this viewing deck at any time of the day and sunset.
So we're using every camera that we have. Here I'm shooting time-lapse of Alaya working with the Panasonic. Here I have a GoPro suction cup to this window, which is hopefully capturing some just kind of behind the scenes angle of Alaya working and us filming. Over there we have a DSLR that's filming Alaya, and then on the edge of the building, this is a little hard to see, we have one DSLR taking time-lapse again with the Tamron 15 to 30 millimeter lens, and then on the Magic Arm I have another Panasonic that's zoomed in a little bit more to this scene. This may be the first time that we've used the Magic Arm on this trip, but it's something that we always end up using on these tutorials. And you can see here we're out of tripods, but I have the Magic Arm clipped to the side of this rail. This is actually the most stable camera that we have today, because as I walk around, I don't know if you can see, but these boards move. And so this camera has been jostling around just by me walking around here.
In the end, we were able to film another great lesson on pano photography.
Last time I was going from right to left and then back from right to left so that I could just sequence my pano all the way from one end to the other. So in Lightroom I can actually group them together very easily. This time I decided to do something different. Reason being, this is the closest I've shot towards the Burj Khalifa so far. And I want to make sure that that is straight in my pano. If that's off a little bit, if it's warped, it's not going to stitch correctly, and nothing looks worse than when the tallest building in the world is actually leaning. It shouldn't be that way. So initiating my pano from the beginning, what I actually did is I started the pano dead center. And what I mean by dead center is the Burj Khalifa is dead center, everything's perfectly level, and that way I can look and make sure that it's perfectly straight and aligned. From the center, I actually moved to the right. So I overlapped 1/3 just like the last time, shot everything, overlapped a third, shot everything again, and went to the farthest extent of where I wanted the right side of my image to be. After that, I moved back to the center and then offset it and started to the left. Now here's the reason why I shot from the right to the left instead of the left to the right. The sun rises on the left side, meaning that that is the bright side of the frame. So it takes longer to capture the dark side of the image. So what I want to do is I want to have a cohesive pano that I can put together. So if you think about this taking maybe 6 or 7 minutes of time to capture the entire sequence of images, throughout that 6 or 7 minutes, the light is changing. So what I want to make sure is I capture the dark side first before I get to the light side. Now, if I didn't have the Burj Khalifa in the frame, what I would have done is I would have started from the darkest side of the image and moved towards the lightest side of the image. But this time, I wanted to make sure that the Burj Khalifa was perfectly straight and aligned before I initiated any other frames of this pano sequence.
This lesson wrapped up filming in Dubai, and for our final excursion, Patrick and I headed back out to the desert.
at that part of the trip where we have to sand surf.
Not as good as skiing in the mall. Miss the final episode of Photographing the World 3 behind the scenes next week when we visit New York City.
It's like 30 degrees outside New York. We're going to the top of the rock, and I'm thinking, whose idea was it to go up there in frigid temperatures? And then I realized that it was my idea.
And if you'd like to learn more about the full tutorial, head over to fstoppers.com/store.